nobody else can use it. Now, Chagulanyi argued that NRM has yellow, white, and red, a little bit of red as their color. FDC has blue, white, and a little bit of red as their color. And all of them choose what color they want to be dominant as their party colors. And they say it is unfair for Electoral Commission to come out and tell them red color has been taken and you cannot use it. And they say that they will continue using the color regardless of what the Electoral Commission says. However, Byamukama says they must stop using red or else they will face charges with the Electoral Commission. Now that's a tricky situation for People Power, who have since time immemorial used red as their color, and they decided we are coming to NUP and we're changing the color to red because NUP was blue earlier on. So the question is, how true is it that one party can have they can own a color? How true is that?
Latifa, first and foremost, I want to say it's a sign of maturity for the no party. First, Okuvayo never forming a political party. It gave them a sense of, from People Power as a movement to NOP as a political party. It's a sign of maturity. It gave them a sense of belonging. Nti kati noli yabaddenga abagamba nti bano bayaga, bano bayaye, tebalina mulamwa, tebalina kigendererwa. So Okuvayo never forming ekibiina out of the blue. Because we read, between me and you, we read that Bobby Wine or Robert Chagulanyi yagenda okuwandiisa People Power as a party. Nasanga ngabali bakolachi. By registering
as an old people's NGO, yes. So we
you understand?
That.
Then why it techetagisa extra lenses to see what exactly is going on? Wachi Bobby Wine wa forming a good party. Aba Electoral Commission officials they were shaking them. Lwachi, Lwagambi kati, I'm using these colors. Isiwe vayone government, those colors belong to UPC.
We'll quote Bobby Wine's word. He says, I registered the NUP party without their knowledge. And that is why the Electoral Commission heads were fired. Now, we do not know the truth behind that allegation, but that is what Bobby Wine said, and I quoted it. Now, according to Bobby Wine, this move is to help put EC back in the good books of the president, because they were fired because he registered a party without their knowledge.
According to Bobby Wine.
According to Bobby Wine. Again, according to Bobby Wine.
Yes.
And now the color issue has come up, and he says that they're trying to get back in the good books of the president in order to try Okubale Mesa to go on with red as the People Power color. And then finally, Bobby Wine said that it is time that whoever thinks they will support People Power without supporting NOP, they are very wrong, and they need to figure out what they want to do with themselves, because if you're not NOP, you're not People Power.
Yes.
So you're either FDC and FDC or NOP and People Power. You cannot be FDC and NOP. And
maybe I would also suggest that they can either be DP and People Power, because People Power is a slogan. It is in the constitution of this country that power belongs to the people of Uganda.
Well, the one who holds the slogan or who made the slogan of movement has aligned it or married it with NUP. It's time people accept that has happened. And we've seen people like Zake move to join NUP because they know what it means to be NRM and People Power. So they decided to join. And we see whether other people who feel the same will be joining NUP.
I think it's also, we are prone to seeing quite a number of candidates or political candidates crossing to different political groups, because it's within the mandate of the constitution of this country that within this period nga wabulayo omwaka oba nga tuli mu mwaka ogumaliriza ekyo ekisanja ba political leaders or candidates bajja bakkirizibwa okuva mu kibiina ekimu ekyobufuzi okudda mu kirala. So they are acting within the mandate of the constitution. Tiranze nsubira tukyalaba abala bangi nnyo bagenda kuba nga basala either nga bava mu NUP nga badda mu NRM oba nga bava mu NRM nga badda mu NUP.
Well, we've seen FDC lose over 500 people to the different political parties, and we're going to see more of that happen before the 2021 elections. However, moving on to our next headline, in the 2021 elections, police is planning to create, they call it, how do they put it, violation suppression unit. And they said that that is going to be formed ahead of the 2021 elections in order to avoid issues that have happened in the previous elections. Now, we've seen the previous elections going crazy. We've seen crime on the increase when it comes to election time. We've seen people going crazy. I mean, go back to the by-elections that happened in Arua where Yasin was killed, Kauma was killed, and we saw people pelting stones at the president's, motorcade. So there's a lot that happens during elections. There's a lot of insecurity during elections, and this unit is formed to try and suppress. However, there's some people who have come up to say, why are you rushing to form this unit? The 2021 elections are not yet here, and besides, we have scientific elections. So why are you forming this unit? Now, one of the reasons that police gave for forming this unit is the increase in gun misuse in the country. Now, let's look at the footage, and then we'll be back to discuss, one, the misuse of guns in Uganda, and the fact that guns are... You've seen the LDUs. We've seen someone being shot because an LDU had an issue with the other person, and apparently he thought the person was cheating on him with, with his wife, and he shot the person to death. So there's a lot of gun misuse, and that's one of the reasons.
Nanga bwabadde mu lukungaana lw'abannamawulire ku ssengejjere ly'amawulire Kampala ategeezezza nga sabbiiti ewedde bwe bajja emmundu 6 okuva mu bantu ng'emu ku zo yasangibwa n'ababbi abaali bafera abantu naddala abakyala nga beefuula ababatwalako oluvannyuma ne bababba ko n'okubatuusaako obute ng'ategeezezza nti baneeno baakwatiddwa era nga bakuumirwa ku poliisi ey'Ekatwe.
Tulina emmundu eziwerera ddala 6 ze twasobodde okununula mu bifo eby'enjawulo n'amasasi agawerera ddala 5 mu 10 okuva ku babbi n'abalala. Baddirira olw'eggulo ku ssaawa obudde bw'olw'eggulo bavuga emmotoka yaabwe ne bagezaako okusikiriza naddala abakyala abaddayo ewaka ne babeeranga ababawa lift. Kati era waliwo omukyala Nakitende Victoria ono musuubuzi wa produce basobola omusendasenda mpaka mu mmotoka yaabwe ne bamunyakulako ssente 1.5 amasimu n'ebirala.
Ayongeddeko nti waliwo n'omwami amanyiddwa nga Mugisha Stewart nga yamaze okulya emmere n'atiisatiisa abantu ekyaviiriddeko abantu okubeera nga bamwemulugunya ne bamuwaabira ku poliisi wabula nga yetoogerera akuumibwa ku poliisi okusobola okunoonyereza ku nsibuko ey'emmundu eno.
Ennyuma lw'abakyala mu katale k'ebugoloobi okuvaayo n'okwemulugunya ku mwami gwe bayita Mugisha Stewart myaka 36. Ani amaze okulya emmere ate n'atandika okukangakanga bannannyini emmere ne basitoola. Kati awo poliisi we yajjidde n'esobola omukwata n'esanga nga alina basitoola omwabadde amasasi 15 era okugenda okumubuuza akanana n'akataano n'alaga nti ya muganda gwe bayita Edgar Mutambi.
Enanga era asabye abo abalina emmundu ez'obwannannyini okuzikuumanga obulungi okusobola ate okwewala okuleeta emitawana mu bantu ko n'okwereetera ebizibu.
Ofuna emmundu ey'obwannannyini olina okulaba nti ogikuuma bulungi. So kino nakyo kiraga nti teyagikuuma bulungi, kisobola okuviirako okusazibwa okwa layisensi gy'alina.
Akaseera kano ak'omuggalo kazibu nnyo kubanga abantu enfuna yaabwe ntono ddala nga kino kiwaliriza abamu okuzza emisango ng'obubbi wabula nga abantu tulina okwekuuma naddala obutatambula mu budde obwa kafyu okwewala emitawaana omuli obutemu ssaako n'okubbibwa. Ramula Katumba, STV Select ey'enjawulo.
Walonda wa boda bwe twasanze nga akukusa enjaayi
Oh yes, that was Mr. Afande Fred Enanga, the Uganda police spokesperson, trying to alert the country or inform the country about the misuse of guns. And my fundamental question is, where do these guns come from? Because in 2018, police, ekitongole kya security kyava ne kigamba nti bagenda kuwandiisa emmundu zonna. Kati zino ffe twebuuza zivaawa?
Well, that's a very good question, because that is the same question I had in mind. If we have illegal guns, because if I say the misuse of guns is among the security personnel, well, that is understandable. They're registered guns and the security personnel are misusing these guns. However, now we're looking at guns in the hands of the community itself. Robbers are using guns to steal. Now the question is, where do these guns come from? The unregistered guns, because if they were registered, they would be easier to trace. There's a time that the government had marked even the bullets. Now if you shot someone, the bullet would be marked and they say this bullet is from this gun which is registered to this person and it can be traced back. But now we've seen incidences where they cannot be traced back. And according to our sources, there are very many borders around the country. And allegedly, that's where the guns could be coming into the country. Now, the question is, what is the security company, because security personnel, or the government itself, doing to try and ensure that we do not have illegal guns that get into the country?
I think there's need for more energy to be geared towards security. Definitely. And also manning our borders. There's need for that, because if you have more porous borders and we have countries that have violences, we have violences in South Sudan, we have violences in Burundi. Yes. So if we don't man our borders correctly, then we are prone to having so many illegal guns entering into the country.
And you don't want that situation with the 2021 elections coming up. My producer corrected me and said it's not scientific elections but scientific campaigns. Noted. However, back to the general elections that are coming up, it's a tricky situation, and that is why the government or the police decided to put the violation suppression unit as part of the police force to try and control the 2021 general elections and see that we have less insecurity compared to the other elections that we've had.
If I may comment about that, and I want to commend the Uganda Police Force for coming up with that unit, because when you're going to any elections, we always expect lots of crime rates to rise. Buli tugenda mu kalulu obumenyi bw'amateeka bweyongera era waliwo engombe egamba nti politics is a dirty game. Definitely. You don't know what happens in a dirty game. We lose lives, we lose property, we lose lots of things. So nebaza police okuvayo netekawo akabunda ako oba unity yegenda okolaki okuyambako obumenyi bw'amateeka nga tugenda mu kaseera kano aka campaign atenga tukirabiddeko lwatunze sisuubira nti oba tugenda na kubeera scientific campaigns bwe tubanga mu zino akaluka akamyufu tulabyeko nga parties ezisinga they violated the rules or the SOPs omuli social distancing okwambala masks tuva balaba wano aba people power. If you're to count the number of people putting on the masks, you may count and not even lose your fingers. So twalaba ichali mu FDC, NRM, some of them were not even putting on masks. So butulaba bulabe ekyo ekigenda mu maaso kikuwa ekifaananyi tuyinza obutabeera ne scientific campaigns over they are prone to being violated.
Hybrid campaigns is what we're going to see. Now going into our last headline of the day, we have the president calling upon all politicians to test for COVID-19. Now what we have noted or what we have seen is that the proprietor of STV, our boss, SK Mbuga, has called upon the government to put this in place. And he did it even before the president came up. He said that all politicians ought to have tested for COVID-19 or to go and have tests for COVID-19 in order for the elections to be free and fair and for them to hold consultations with their people and talk to the people. Now let's look at that footage and we'll be right back to discussing more about why the president thinks it's important and how SK came up with this suggestion and the president sees its importance now.
Olwabana abeesimbyewo ku bukulembeze bonna bagende babakebere basooke bateeke mu karantini.
Ng'eggwanga n'ensi yonna bikyali ku bwerinde olw'ekirwadde ki COVID-19 ekireetebwa akawuka ka coronavirus nga kino kyaleetera n'eggwanga lyattu okuggalawo bizinensi mu kaweefube w'okutangira ekirwadde kino okusaasaana mu bantu. Ekirwadde kino kireetedde bangi okubagana empawa anti n'okukuba kakuyege mu lujjudde mu kalulu akabindabinda kwagaaniddwa nga kino kireese bannabyabufuzi bangi naddala ku ludda oluvuganya gavumenti nga beemulugunya. Enkya ya leero omugagga era nga munnabizinensi Sulaiman Kabangala Mbuga amanyiddwa nga SK Mbuga avuddeyo n'asaba gavumenti okusooka okukebeza abo bonna abaagala okwesimbawo okulaba oba tebannakwatibwa kirwadde kino.
Coronavirus bagamba tanafuna ddagala. Kakati nze ekirowoozo kyange kyandibadde nti Ministry of Health oba ne Parliament, Honorable Speaker wa Parliament mwanditeeseza ku kintu oba ne muteesa ku kintu eky'abana abeesimbyewo okubanga baba basobola okumala bakebera ne bamanya nti status z'abantu ku kirwadde kino ekiriko ekya COVID-19. So kijja kuba kituwa naffe ng'abalonzi okumanya nti omuntu gwe tulonda oba gwe tuwa akalulu kaffe muntu mulamu since fena tumanyi nti eddagala lya coronavirus teririiwo.
Ono ayongeddeko nti singa omu ku baagala okwesimbawo asangibwa ng'alina ekirwadde kino asooka assibwe ebbali sinakindi atwalibwe mu karantiini.
Bwe kinaabanga nga balina gwe basanze n'akawuka basooke bamuze ebbali paka eddagala nga lirabise bonna bagende babakebere basooke bateeke mu karantini ennaku nga 14 gwe basanga n'akawuka abeere disqualified ave mu lwokaano abalamu abali coronavirus free beyongereyo bagende mu maaso.
Mukulu Mbuga akubirizza kampani ez'enjawulo nga kw'ossa n'emikutu gy'amawulire okuli TV ne radio okukebeza abakozi baabwe olw'ensonga batambula mu bitundu eby'enjawulo.
Ekirwadde kyanjawulo ku birwadde ebirala nti ekirwadde kira kiyinza okuluma gwe omuntu omu oba okitegeera naye kino since it's a airborne disease kikwata bwe kityo. So kirungi nnyo bannange mbakubiriza mugende mwekebeze babategeere musevinge ku famire zammwe n'abantu ababeetoolodde. Okubeera mu karantini ennaku 14 si kyagundi osobola n'okuba mu self karantini nga bwe nagenda ne bankebera namala kuba mu self karantini paka results bwe zajja nga siina kawuka ka corona era abakozi ba STV abamu nabo ne bagenda betutyo bwe tuba tusobola okukola ki okweyambako ekirwadde kino ekya coronavirus.
Mu kusembayo SK Mbuga akubiriza bannayuganda okugoberera amateeka agateekebwawo minisitule y'ebyobulamu n'omukulembeze w'eggwanga okuli okwambala masiki okunaaba mu ngalo kw'ossa n'okwewala omujjuzo.
Mwekume mubeere nga temusaasaanya kawuka kano ka coronavirus kubanga mulabye bwe kagoyezza amawanga gonna n'ebyenfuna mubiraba nga bwe biri ate bannange tubeere ku mulamwa ffenna tubeere nga tunaaba mu ngalo nga bwe batulagira tubeere nga twambala masiki wadde nze leero sigiina kubanga mbadde nziggyeko eddakiika nga 2 emabega naye nga masiki zo tubeere nga tuzambala buli woba ogenda okufuluma ng'ozambala twewala enkuŋŋaana.
Adams Mayambala, STV Select enjawulo.
Kifo ky'okuddaawo ne tulowooza.
Thank you so much Adams Mayambala and that story ya running nnaku z'omwezi nga 27 omwezi ogw'omukaaga omwaka guno. Omukulembeze gwanga yavuddeyo wiiki ewedde. Naawa naayisa ekiragiro kyekimu oba naawa amagezi ge gamu era nga nze ndowooza nti omuntu omufuula omuwabuzi w'omukulembeze w'eggwanga kwe kubeera n'ekitone okuva eri Katonda okusobola okulowooza oba okufumiitiriza ku ebyo by'osuubira okubeerawo mu maaso. Chairman waffe Haji SK Mbuga ekirowoozo kye yakireetanga mu gw'omukaaga niyo omukulembeze w'eggwanga simanyi oba kyamutuukako ekiba nga kyamutuukako well and good naye bwe kiba nga tekyamutuuseeko nga naye yakirowoozezzaako kitegeeza nze am calling upon the president to nominate him as the presidential advisor.
There you go, Simon Chris Makanga with his advice of making Haji S.K. Mbuga the presidential advisor. Now, looking at this topic of discussion, there is a lot of questioning that goes around this topic of discussion. And the question is, what will happen if, because when we listen to Haji S.K. Mbuga and his advice towards the checking of political aspirants, say Robert Chagulanyi will test for COVID-19. Say, although the FDC have failed to still pick the presidential flag bearer, say Kizza Besigye tests for COVID-19 and they find them positive. That means they need to go for treatment. That means they're going to be taken out of the race. So this becomes a tricky situation of, will the results not be tampered with? Is a question that is asked. Because once you go and check for COVID-19 as Robert Chagulanyi,
he tests positive,
and that means he has to be kicked out of the race.
Tests positive.
He has to go for treatment.
Tests positive.
What happens?
Okay.
That's a tricky situation for the country.
The rest begins.
As we are saying that they should be tested for COVID-19, we're also looking at the effects that comes with.
Along with.
There are forged results that could happen. We've seen that happen in elections. There are things that could come out positive yet they're negative. However, there's also a candidate coming out positive when he is actually positive, because they meet different people, they interact with different people, and during that time there could be a time when they met with someone with COVID-19. We can see 1,185 is a big number for the country, and that means there's a position the country has been put in whereby we're having numbers increase day by day. So there will be no surprise to find that some of the politicians are actually positive and they're still moving in crowds and they're still meeting people. We can see the people power group that met. There was no social distancing, although we saw better use of masks. What happened is, if one of them has COVID-19.
I think what the president said and our chairman Haji S.K. Mbuga came up with, it's a pretty good idea.
It's
because
agreeable.
And I wanted to deviate a little bit from a single candidate to a family level and people around him, because oyo muntu agenda okuba akalu oba ine yesimbyewo agenda sinkana abantu bangi ab'enjawulo. So ye ne family ye n'abamuli okumpi, let them go under, let them be subjected to testing, not even self-quarantine, but testing. Tumanye status yawe yimiridde etya before nga tebannabasindika genda mu bantu kuba campaign, because believe you me, wadde nga bataddewo special unit egenda okuziiza obumenyi bw'amateeka mu kaseera kano aka scientific campaigns. They're going
to be there.
We are going to see meetings held in hotels, meetings held on consultations.
Yes.
So ye n'abantu abamuli okumpi bagende babakebere tumanye status zaabwe zimiridde zitya nga tebannabayingira mu bantu.
Well, definitely. On that note, we'll go for a short break, and when we return, we come back with the topic of discussion. Thank you for being here with the first show.
Hiring. The station seeks to recruit competent and trustworthy sales executive to grow advertising sales volume and reach its business targets. Key responsibilities include discovering and pursuing new sales prospects, negotiating deals through maintaining customer satisfaction, growth of TV portfolio, good proposal writing skills, impeccable integrity, and passion for the station. Qualifications: bachelor degree or diploma in business-related course. If you meet the requirements, please submit your application, detailed CV, and academic documents at Sky Complex located along Buziga Road. Note: only shortlisted candidates will be contacted.
lwooto lwa waaka.
A very good morning once again and welcome to the first show. For you guys who have just joined us and for you who has been with us, thank you for being with us from morning to now. We've been discussing a number of headlines and right now we're going to the topic of discussion. And our topic of discussion is how COVID-19 has affected the education sector in the country and what next for the education sector. Let's look at the footage and then we'll be right back to discuss with someone, Chris Makanga.
Ekirwadde kya COVID-19 omukulembeze w'eggwanga Yoweri Kaguta Museveni yayisa ekiragiro ky'okuggalawo amasomero ng'ennaku z'omwezi 18 omwezi gw'okusatu omwaka guno. Bangi baali tebakyetegekedde era abamu balowooza nti kyali kyakaseera buseera balyoke baddemu okusoma. Wenjogerera bino nga tuli mu myezi 4 ng'abayizi bakyali waka. Okuggalawo kw'amasomero kwaleetera abayizi obukadde 15 n'abasomesa emitwalo 54,800 n'amasomero emitwalo 7,300 okusoomoozebwa wabula nga bangi tebamanyi engeri ki gye bagenda kwezza bujja. Mu mwezi gw'okutaano ekitongole ky'ebyenjigiriza kyavaayo okuwagira ensoma ya science kiyite e-learning omuli abayizi okusomera ku ma TV, zi radio ne ku mikutu gimigatta bantu. Naye abange abayizi bemuteeseza bino byonna babyogerako ki?
Awulekya e-learning, me as a person tekiri bulungi at all because you know kati ffe ddala Uganda twamanyira kutuula mu class teacher najja n'awandika ku blackboard oba n'ayogera n'akugamba ekintu ky'omugenda okusomako.
Sina kyenkyogerako kibi, baatuyambyeko ekitinitini kye basobola nabo, baatuyambyeko ekyo tusomere kompyuta naye n'okusoma twagala okuddayo okusoma ne batica baffe.
Ekikompyuta tekirina makulu kubanga teyogera tojja gibuuza ekuddiremu. Ega teba tugondezawo tetuddamu kusoma kiba kituyambako.
Yo waaye gwe omuyizi lino ebbanga oyizeemu ki?
Ky'obuvunaanyizibwa bale nyina wensoma kompyuta ennaku zino.
Kati nze njiza okukola donuts from internet, chapati, okufumba biki. So if it is a dead year, I'll go in for that. I have no option.
Bano beraliikirivu ku ky'okuddamu omwaka bakiwakanya era basaba gavumenti ebazze ku masomero.
First of all, to the government, let us go back to school because mubadde mu campaigninga ate COVID tabakwata. Abantu bali mu butale COVID tabakwata.
Male nteesawo betugondezeemu tuddemu okusoma nga tebanaba kugira kola ki kade bina bagenda buwanvu kubanga fa P5 twetusuubira omwaka ogujja lugenda mu P6.
But semester like over in small cliques, in small groups, then okuwesinga sente because abamu try to amala tuition kati awo omuzadde oba olina omusaasira.
School fees we buzibu twasasulayo simanyi oba we tulina otandikira oba tetulina kwongerayo simanyi.
Wabula beebazizza STV olw'okuvaayo ne babuuza ku ndowooza zaabwe ku nsonga enkulu ey'ebyenjigiriza ne bongera okukubira gavumenti omulanga gwabwe ogw'okudda ku masomero.
Thank you STV for kirabika nabo bazadde. They know what you're going through and maybe they've paid school fees for their children. Thank you for fighting for us. We want to go back to school. We are tired of home. Home is not productive.
ensonga y'ebyenjigiriza tukyagigoberera era nga buli lwa Monday tugenda kubeera nga tubaako kye tukuleetera. Iggwe omuyizi, omusomesa, naawe nannyini ssomero wamu n'omuzadde ku byenjigiriza. Nze Shamira Nagawa ku lwa STV Select ey'enjawulo.
Thank you, Shamira Nagai, for that story. 15 million learners at home and 500,000 teachers jobless in Uganda. The government has earmarked 10 million radios and 137,466 solar set television for 68,000 villages. Is that enough to try and cut down the education situation in the country? March 18th, the government announced that schools will be closed, and we have had an on and off school will be back and school will not be back. But the question is, should students go back to school? Simon Chris Makanga.
The truth is, no one can debate against the value of education in this country. That is a fact. But also the wise people say that an ocean cannot exist in spite of the river, and the river cannot exist. As young as we are, we can speak positive about it, and we can advise the Ministry of Health. Education was the first to be affected by the lockdown.
Definitely.
Like our reporter said, it was on the 18th of March that the President of Uganda subjected all schools to 32 days of lockdown. Kwanza. And then up to now, they are still home. So I'm not saying that it's bad, but when the world throws you a lemon, you make lemonade out of it.
Chris.
And what I'm saying, wait a minute. A home is the first institution that we need to have as a nation. Nti ewaka ly'essomero erisooka nga n'omwana wo tannakola ki, tanagenda ku ssomero kufuna zi PhD, okufuna zi degrees, okufuna zi diploma. Ewaka tuyigawo ki? Tuyigawo empisa. Nti ne bw'oba ofunye diploma eyo, ne bw'oba ofunye PhD, naye nga toyina mpisa, you're going to become a danger person to society.
Okay.
So let's not blame the government for maybe keeping us long or blame the pandemic. Let's learn something from home. Omuzadde omwana we ali waka, omuyigiriza ki? Kikyagenda okubeera ng'akuze nti ne bw'aba afunye diploma oba masters oba PhD naye nga talina mpisa zajje waka kikyagenda okukola ki? Okuzzaako. Another advice I might give maybe to the Minister of Health, like I said, a river cannot exist in spite of the little droplets. So I am the droplet. Let's call this a dead year. We have challenges in the education system. Nti omwana akuguka Makerere n'afuluma naye n'omusanga ng'asomye by'amawulire. I've always been telling you this, Latifa, nti ova ku Makerere University omaze okusoma amawulire naye n'omaliza ng'oli ku mutaasa otunda masimu. So we can take this ne tukijjawo mu kino ekiseera. Let the ministry revamp the entire system. Nti tusome omwana nga ava okusoma amawulire afuluma agenda mu ki? Either in media house or anywhere else. Nti omwana asomye maybe asomye engineering. Leka ate kumulaba nga ate agenda kusomesa ku lubaawo. Leka abeere productive. Tukyuse ngombe egamba nti kati omwana asomye engineering naye ate omulimu gwagenda okukola nemesa okuzimba oluguudo. Agenda kukola under wansi w'omuchina. Ebyo tubikyuse biveewo. Let's take advantage of this pandemic and the lockdown in Uganda to revamp the entire system. Truth be told, chinyiza chinakuwaza chimalira muddala.
Well, there you go. Well, some of you answered our questions on Facebook, and we asked about the education system. Should it be revamped or not? And someone, Chris Makanga, will be taking us shortly into what exactly your answers were on Facebook. But before he does that, now we have a situation where John Chrysostom says that the institutions and universities should be open because they're easier to handle than primary schools are. We have seen dormitories and classrooms, primary schools and secondary schools, dormitories and classrooms. And we've seen that they have even, there were hazards even before COVID-19. Fires were started in dormitories in schools. And if you see how packed these dormitories challenges are, you ask yourself, how do these schools, how are they going to manage the COVID-19 situation once schools are open? I know that a lot of us want to take our kids back to school, but there's a lot lacking in SOPs in opening the schools, and we think that we should wait for the country to open up economies, because even when they open schools, school fees zigenda kuvawa. People need to work in order to get the school fees zigenda kuvawa. However, we've also seen the effect of keeping kids out of school. Teenage pregnancy has increased by 34%. We have seen child labor increase by 17%. We have seen issues like defilement, like rape, like domestic violence, all of it happening when children are at home. And that means that school was an escape route for these children to get away from their abusive parents and go to school. And some people are arguing that even when we say kids should not go back, how about we use these schools to teach them the SOPs? Because when you teach something to a student in school, they go back home and tell their parents. I'm sure you have a kid, Chris Makanga, and when they go to school, they come back and tell you, Daddy, today we learned ABCD, today we learned how to wash hands. I remember when I was in my primary, and that was the time when Ebola was everywhere. They launched a wash project in schools. Now, Simon Chris Makanga, let's not go there. They launched a wash project in schools, and they taught us how to wash our hands proper, you know. And when we went back home, we showed our parents, don't wash your hands like this, mom. They taught us how to wash it in other ways. And I think when we have kids in schools, taught in sections, P1, P2, and P3 will study from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And the rest of the classes will study on the rest of the days. Let's divide these days. Let's see. Chris, you're the one who said that COVID-19 is here to stay.
Of course.
And it's time we learn how to live with it. Can we do the same with the education sector? There are schools that cannot afford to have the social distancing measures because there are very many schools, there are very many students in those schools, and there's very little classrooms. But can we utilize the environment outside, the field, to educate the students? I know we're going to have a problem with shortage of teachers, because if you look at the statistics, 15 million learners and 500,000 teachers is a bit of a short put when it comes to learners versus teachers. However, I think this can be done. I think schools can be reopened carefully and to ensure social distancing, but students need to get away from homes where they're forced to work, where there is abuse. They need to go to a safe haven. And for many of them, school has been a safe haven for them.
Actually, the conversation continues on our social media handles. Like you can see on your screen that we have a question. How has COVID-19 affected the education system in Uganda? You can go on our social media handles, Facebook, Twitter, and then throw your comment. But it's a bit tricky for the education system in this country. Truth be told, it has been greatly affected from the students, from the lecturers or teachers, to the parents as well, and the entire country. It's been greatly affected. Answer igenda kuvaawa. That's a big question that we have. Bw'otunuulira ebibuuzo ebibuuzibwa, answer igenda kuvaawa. Government yagezaako nereta e-learning. Ne e-learning tukimanyi mu Uganda nti ensoma ye Uganda eri equally divided, not equally divided but extremely divided. Tuyina abaana bayita ba A class, tuyinayo aba B class ne C class. Nti omwana asomera Nakasero agenda tuula ekibuuzo kye kimu n'omwana ali ku kizinga Sese. Naye omwana asomera Nakasero asobola okwa muzadde we asobola okwaffordinga tab ng'eno kwasobola omusomesezaako. Naye omwana ali ku kizinga agenda kusoma ku ki? Government yagezaako negamba nti badistributinge TVs oba gabe televisions. Naye television ogenda ziteeka ku kyalo. You need to do social distancing. Onookikola otya ng'ate weetaaga okukola ki okuziza abaana okukola ki okulwala ekirwadde kya COVID-19. So bw'obirowoozaako olabye ddala nga bizibu okutegeera nga ne answer wegenda okuva nawo tolabikawo ni wabula twebaza omukulembeze w'eggwanga nti mu kwogera kwe okwasembayo yasuubiza abasomesa abaali wansi wa private sector yabasuubiza yabawa biliyoni 2 era yabasaba bafominge obubayita SACCOs okulaba nga abateeramu ensimbi era n'alagira ne minisita w'ebyensimbi Honorable Matia Kasaija okwongeramu endala 20 billion shillings.
Now the thing about this fund that the president has given to, as you're getting us the Facebook comments, Simon Chris Makanga, that the president has given to this circle, the private teachers circle, is that a lot of teachers still don't know about this circle. And some of them are sitting for meetings on and on, trying to figure out how do we get this money. However, now the question that is ranging in the teachers' minds is we haven't had guidelines on how we can get this money. We're all having COVID-19 crisis. We are all going through poverty and we're all broke. But there hasn't been a fundamental guideline that has been given to these teachers to tell them now you can go and get your money through A, B, C, D. And we think the government should do that in order for these teachers to access money because we don't see schools being opened up anytime soon.
Well, we do have a comment that is coming from our Facebook page, and this is Stifler Chris. He says that yes, it has been greatly affected as teachers are now unemployed. Students getting pregnant, some of them have started working and earning money, and some directors have started selling their schools. This is extremely true.
And
in one of the WhatsApp circles I have, or groups, I have seen people posting pictures of schools for sale.
School goes for 450 million.
School goes for...
I'm not even supposed to laugh. I'm just trying to see the picture on social media of a school proprietor selling his school, knowing that I'm not going to make any money. The whole of this year is a dead year for me. I am not making money because, you know, it's the COVID-19 situation. But hopefully the money that the president has put in these circles will help them get a loan, start a farming scheme, do something to help revamp your finances as we wait for schools to open. I don't think selling these schools is a solution.
You know, Latifa, there was the moment that person makes that decision, natuka nagamba nti kantunda kange
it's bad.
Kitegeeza embeera eba ekoze eki eba ekalubye omuntu waatuukira n'agamba nti kanve ku kusomesa ngende nsiike chapati ngende nvuge boda. Situation is really tough. The education system tunagikwasa katonda ngera bajjajjaffe bakwasa ensi yaffe katonda nti for God and my country katukwase ministry education tulabe measures kizeevaayo okulaba nga zigasa mu buli munnayuganda buli omuyizi munnayuganda singa measures zebufulumya zigasa omwana w'omukampala wokka nze nfa nnyo ku mwana ali ku kizinga esese kuba atuula ekibuuzo kya UNEB kyekimu singa bali babyawulamu that would be okay naye olw'okuba nti batula ebibuuzo byebimu there is need to come up with measures that favor all Ugandan students.
The government had come up to say that candidate classes start. However, that also raised concern and people were wondering. Now, if they release candidate classes to start education and they do their examinations, that means come next year, by the time P6 come back to class, we don't have a P7 class. That means P7 is empty. And that's what a lot of people have been arguing. And they say for the 3 months that the country has been on lockdown, it's tricky to have the candidates come back to study when they haven't been in class for that long. Now, those are the different issues that we have been seeing the Ministry of Education try and come up and deal with as the country looks at opening schools.
Oh yes, keep the comments coming through on our social media handles, that is Facebook, STV Uganda, and then our Twitter handle is at STV Uganda as well. We shall be able to come back and read all your comments. But for now, the first show is going to be taking a very short break and we'll be right back.
hiring, the station seeks to recruit competent and trustworthy sales executive to grow advertising sales volume and reach its business targets. Key responsibilities include discovering and pursuing new sales prospects, negotiating deals through maintaining customer satisfaction, growth of TV portfolio, good proposal writing skills, impeccable integrity, and passion for the station. Qualifications: bachelor degree or diploma in business-related course. If you meet the requirements, please submit your application, detailed CV, and academic documents at Sky Complex located along Buziga Road. Note: only shortlisted candidates will be contacted.
Olwogoto lwa waaka.
My name is Simon Chris Makanga and I'm with
LATIFA. Hamid is my name. Karibuni sana. Tumekuja kwa habari ya mchezo with KEMI ANGIE. Yeah. Na atakuwa anatuambia mengi sana kwa habari ya burudani. Kitu gani inafanyikana, Bobby Wine amekuwa nini, Chameleon amekuwa nini, yani waimbaji wanafanya nini na wamekuwa nini. Hello Angie.
Hello,
how are you doing?
No, the look in your face showed that Bagambe no kwa nini.
I didn't understand anything.
You didn't understand.
Actually, I can hear little. You know?
Little?
Yeah.
Kataba mbachi.
Ninaye kazi nyingi nao watoto kuwafunza Kiswahili yani. I have too much work with you guys to teach you Kiswahili.
Anyways, Hogabota Ange.
Ndibulunji. I'm very fine.
Before we go into the entertainment segment, Chris, is that what you wanted to talk to her?
Yeah, we've been discussing about the education, the fate of education in Uganda, particularly in Uganda, amidst the pandemic. Yeah. COVID-19 actually was between me and you to Chimanyi until we get the vaccine. Yeah. I know it is not so lost on me that you're still a student.
Very much sure.
Yeah, I'm still a student.
Yes, even if you're standing here. Ngagwe Omizi. What do you have to say about it?
Actually, this is a two-sided story. The story like in a two sides. We want to go back to school because maybe our parents pay the school fees and all the tuition is done.
We're talking about your personal opinion.
Yes.
Don't impress your mommy right now. I know that's what you're doing.
I'm telling you my opinion. I'm telling you my opinion. Maybe my mom paid my school fees. It's done. Maybe. I would love to go back to school because being idle and I'm going to lose a year behind. That means I'm going to do a year again or I'm going to repeat a class again. But then we should also think about this pandemic because and we don't follow the guidelines. COVID and then the death cases also rise. So like, should we really go back to school or what? Anyways. Right now, all you have to do is follow the guidelines, the SOPs, until we're never going to have opened up the schools.
So we're not going to Ramateka until the government opens.
Played itself.
Anyways, what's happening in the world of entertainment?
Okay, that is the first. Actually, this is the first gossip in the first show. The first show you're supposed to be watching every morning on your STV. Don't change the channel, don't tamper the channel. For those who want to reach us on our social media platforms, find us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. And on Instagram, you find us on stv.ug, and Twitter, you find us on stvug official, and for Facebook, you find us on stv Uganda. My name is Kemi Angie Nzokuba Lugambo Sokerako Dala every morning, and right now njagantankireko no muntu yadde awabula abayimbi banne ono ibamwita John Black everyday nagamba ntino he advises fellow musicians to save. This pandemic now tulimanyi ebadde so hectic for almost everyone. Businesses were shut down, abantu badde bakuba bivulu, tebagenda mu clubs, kwegamba all the field ebadde ekola sente, it was affected. Babula mwana mlezi John Black everyday nagamba ntino this should be a lesson to some musicians who spend more than what they actually earn. And they want to live in this luxurious life. They spend on cars, they spend on expensive apartments. They want to move in different expensive places. They take selfies with your mother and they happen to be somewhere. Let this be a lesson. Kubanga, you spend more than what you can actually earn or more than what you save. Kajukira bade tebakuba bivulu, bade tebakola tagina clubs, bade te kwa mtu ya naba imbi bade besibye for a while. Nababla yagambye ntino this should train them that even in their old age babenga bayinawo che bayinawo, like bino bade ba spending a cent unnecessarily. Let them learn from this and let them know that kwetegekera obukadde onebakubonabona nti kubanga wazirya mbuvuka no spending nga bwoyagala, and in your old age you're looking for people to support you, you're looking for people to give you food, people to give you shelter. Babula, this has been some good advice from John Black. He's young in the industry, but if he can notice this, now we need to save, we need to, to plan for our future. Then that means this is some good news actually. I was surprised. I didn't expect someone like John Black to come out and be telling this to their fellow musicians. But that means John Black, and actually he's right. Let this be a lesson to all of us. Let us learn how to save. Let us learn how to, to spend less. Don't spend more on what actually sometimes to spend on even things that are not necessary. Bablange tuvudayo twazeke mwana mleze ALLAN TONIKS. On every day nagamba ntino MPs need to do an IQ test. ALLAN TONIKS has been off the spotlight for a while. It was off the new limelight, but apparently limelight was MPs, members of parliament, they need to check for their IQ. Since Honorable Allan Sewanyana, we had Gabida abantu much in the West constituency, Gabida Ludo Bods. People are not following the guidelines, the SOPs. People don't have masks, gloves, they're not even social distancing. I think that he himself, who's supposed to be an example, with bare hands, no gloves, no mask. I think crowd. This is really not right. These people need to check for their IQ. We need to know how they are thinking. Someone in parliament nagamba we need to follow the guidelines, the SOPs with the opposite. Then that means, exactly. Twazeko big trailer. Which big trailer I'm talking about right now. Party after party, then we mash up the place. Party after party. Okay, that has been big trail money for the party after party, big hit. Jakuba net trending for months, even in outside countries. That is big trail money. What money for the party after party hit? They are trending for months and months and months. Even it went outside Uganda, in Nigeria, and booming in different countries because of the fact that it was just cheering up parties for us to go for more and more parties. Babylon, he was almost skinned alive by fans, outside of fans, and it's not his fault, unfortunately. Actually, account yako said dua ukbanga Umtevde nagamba ntino Arsenal fans are shouting like as if they have won Champions League. You can on Saturday the Arsenal team won the FA Cup over Chelsea. Yakuba Chelsea goal biri kwemu. There's a false page. Someone hacked into like a page. Now a page a big trail. They've a very big following. You can say that check out that statement on Twitter. That Nabanga people follow him up. You shout as if you've won a Grammy your music, your noise is louder than your music because you think your party after party hit was booming, so you have to make us smell bad. Fans on the Twitter page they were commenting a lot of actually angry comments, so many angry things. This actually isn't his account. Previously his first account was hacked. There's now color page and hacking, and right now Jaliko nayo search more meji hacking. Kubanga this will cause him more and more trouble. Apparently this fake account about posting so many discouraging things to the fans, and this is actually not good for him. Kwa music career bagena jonona, but like na commenting such weird comments on your page abakutira career. Babla tugenze on the political side, the political celebrity gossip. Chameleon is likely to lose support from Bobby Wine or Honorable Chagulanyi Ntino. Right now he has a new party, the NUP, or the National Unity Platform. I said you Kidanga Chameleon ngachali ne Bobby Wine, that was in Balimu party wing, pressure wing or pressure group people power. Right now Bobby Wine if you're not in NUP, then you're either out or you're in NUP. That means Chameleon again losing a support. Mwana mlezi Bobby Wine. Politics, so politics, I think they are celebrities. They have been together and they have showed us a sign of unity. And maybe Bobby Wine will be supporting Chameleon, the metal hand for him. I'm in the mayor, like standing up for mayorship. Then maybe an hour because I support here and but apparently that doesn't seem so cool. Mwana Chameleon, yeah, he's in DP, Ali more in DP, and he's the chief, I would say, chief mobilizer of DP. And right now kusinza ku statement eno jamujudi yenyi bebwenga jogera mbenga mmanya what I'm talking about.
Yabufuzi bibiri okusinzira ku mateeka agatufuga mu Uganda omuntu tasobola kubeera mu bibiina byabufuzi bibiri omulundi gumu. Kale no abo bannaffe abakiikirira NUP oba bagamba ba NUP, either oli wa NUP oba toli.
That has been Bobby Wine Gamuli and you're either a NUP or you're out. So likely Tunasabira Chameleon Nabenga maybe in DP Jali he stands firm. That has been the first gossip with your girl KEMI Angie every first show. I am here to give you the Lugambo Sokera Dala in the morning. All you have to do is stay tuned on STV Tojijako Tojikwatako, and there's a reason why they say select for fun. Right now Kanzeka Chris Makanga and my LATIFA we communicate, and you can actually send in your comments. What do you think about these things happening in the celebrity world or the sports world or the current affairs world? Don't change the channel, just turn STV.
Well, thank you so much, Angie, and everyone who has just joined us. Indeed, this is the true definition of the first show. It's all about fun, as well as we equip you with the current information, entertainment, and then sports. Or you get the kunsonga ya big thrill, and I think I've found quite a number of victims want to hacking into people's accounts.
Yes. Well, true. Social media bullying, hacking an account, it's regular. It's really but how are we having more than one account being hacked? Why? Why him, and why more than one account being hacked? That's a question for him to answer and tell us. I mean, why? Because
the first account was hacked. He opened up a second one, and then someone also opened up another account in his names. And actually, this account has a bigger following than his actual account.
I think it has to be verified. Yes,
that's what I'm saying.
That's the way to go.
Accounts, Twitter accounts are verified. So why isn't his account verified? Can he find a way to make it verified? However, before we go, DP and Chameleon and Chagulanyi Bobby Wine, is Chameleon going to move from DP to NUP?
I think he is. You know what's happening in DP? They are the last kicks of a dying horse. Anytime sooner than later, it's not going to be. To me, we don't see DP existing because more are still exiting from DP to NOP to different other parties. So,
what would you want?
Actually, I don't know. This is a choice that we're actually supposed to leave to him. Because if he really wants the support from Bobby Wine, that means he has to leave the party DP and join NOP.
We've seen
and if he wants to stand like his position in DP, that means he has to leave. Forget about the support from Bobby Wine.
According to me, that's
a
move.
Bobby Wine said. That's the move. That is what is going to happen.
Meanwhile, let's take another break, and we are coming back with the first sports with Prince Ijuko. For now, it's a good morning.
Are hiring. The station seeks to recruit competent and trustworthy sales executive to grow advertising sales volume and reach its business targets. Key responsibilities include discovering and pursuing new sales prospects, negotiating deals through maintaining customer satisfaction, growth of TV portfolio, good proposal writing skills, impeccable integrity, and passion for the station. Qualifications: bachelor degree or diploma in business-related course. If you meet the requirements, please submit your application, detailed CV, and academic documents at Sky Complex located along Buziga Road. Note: only shortlisted candidates will be contacted.
olw'ogooto lwa waaka.
Hey guys, you're watching STV. Select for fun.
Nkwaniriza ku machago olunaku lero gwe ali ku STV kanyumiro kaffe ka bya mizanyo mu first show okubanga ofuna emizanyo gye bitambula. Watugenda kubanga tutunula bya mizanyo tugenda tuna ebintu bingi nnyo wabula tujja talikirako munda mu ggwanga. Watugenda tutandikira kuba nti omuvubuka gwe bayita ahaibwe ono yamaze okubanga yegata ku club eno eya yasodo kubanga yegata club ya KCCA era olunaku lwajjo yavuddeyo n'ategeeza n'agamba nti agenda kubanga batebera goals nga wadde wabaddewo ekyeya kya goal mu club ya KCCA bonyera okuba nti avubuka ng'aba Patrick Kadu abali bateba goals ennyingi abakubanga batambulamu saako n'omukwavuka abalanga Allan Okelo kati azze okuba nti ayamba timu ya KCCA yamaze okubanga yabegattako yavudde mu club ya Mbarara City najabegattako nga wadde Mike Mutebi aludde ebbanga nga amwogereza okubanga amuleeta naye nga atadde omukono ku ndagaano ya myaka 3 ngali mu club ya KCCA nga basambira omupiira omuvubuka gwe bayita ahebwa bw'atyo yasobola okubanga ajja begattako n'abasuubiza egoals zo zigenda kunywa mu club ya KCCA season etandikwa omwaka guno gwe tulimu omwezi gugenda kubeera gwa 10 ennaku zomwe zigenda kubeera ku mwezi ogwomba ennaku zomwe 17 lwegenda kubanga etandika nga KCCA bamalira season ewedde mufo kyakubiri, Vipers emale mufo ekisooka bwe bityo biyimiridde. Ate nga tugenzeko ku side ezeri ejjinja amaliro gavayo gategeeza ki omuvubuka goalkeeper gwe bayita Ali Kimera yamaze okubangaza endagaano y'obujja okusambira club ya Busoga United gyabadde asambira. Kimera endagaano yebadde ekomekerezeddwa era nga kyamaze okubanga kitunulira nti oba oli awo badde clubs zibadde zimwetaaga nga wadde aliko clubs ez'enjawulo n'azikwatira omupiira era ava club ya Mbarara City okujja club ya Busoga United. Kimera ku tiimu y'eggwanga yaliko Ali Kimera era nga omusajja oyo ava side zeri Busoga gyazaalibwa musajja Musoga era nga yamaze okuteeka omukono ku ndagaano eyo okusigala nga akyakwatira club ya Busoga United okumala emyaka 2 mirambirira gyagenda okuba nga bakwatira omupiira. Tiimu y'eggwanga yaliko era nga y'omu ku abo abagenda mu mpaka eza CHAN Ali Kimera ne club ya AC Villa yakwatira omupiira kuva ku Villa n'agenda ku tiimu ya Mbarara City ate n'ajja ku tiimu ya Busoga United nga wadde yaliko mu teams mu ggwanga erya Kenya zoyinza okuba nga oyogerako n'okutegeera biki ebigenda mu maaso ku muvubuka oyo Kimera. Nga tuvuddeko wano munda mu ggwanga tugenda kuwabere eggwanga wetwogera kati ebiseera ebisinga buli omuntu kyaliko ayogera ku kintu kyakuba nti waliwo okukyusakyusa abasambi akatale weekali kaguddwa mu butongole era nga abasambi bali mu kukyusibwakyusibwa wabula club ya Manchester United jinja okuba nga ntandikira Olgan Shocha omutendesi avuddeyo n'alaga nga omuvubuka ono gwe bayita Alex Sanchez gwe baali batadde ku buyazike mu club eya club ya Inter Milan boye bagamba nti abaliko omuvubuka we bayiza omutta Sanchez bamujja mu club ya Arsenal wabula bajja mu club eya Manchester United n'abeera nti yakola bulungi nnyo naye ng'ate omusaala wiiki afuna ssente nnyingi emitwalo 3 gya pound gye yali afuna mu club ya Man United wabula n'atambulamu n'agenda wabula agambye nti atudde omuvubuka ono gwe bayita Jordan Sancho omuvubuka oyo gwolaba okubanga Joe Begattako n'okuba nti abasambira omupiira mu ttiimu ya Manchester United era nga basuubira nti club ya Man United eyinza okuba nti egenda bulungi mu maaso ne mu katale bagenda keetaba mu nnyo olw'ensonga nti bagenda kusamba mpaka eza Champions League era abasambi bangi abamu ku abo okuli Philippe Coutinho naye ng'atunuliddwa okubanga ajjanga ne ttiimu eya Chelsea naye mwetaaga naye nga Coutinho y'omu ku bali ku lukala lwe beetaaga okubanga bamuleeta abasambira omupiira wabula yo agava mu ttiimu ya Barcelona galaga nga bwetagedde okubanga eteekawo obwagazi bw'omuvubuka gwe bayita Neymar Santos ajja abeegatteko ava mu club ya PSG ate nga n'omulala ye muvubuka club ya Real Madrid ayagala omuvubuka gwe bayita Kylian Mbappe ali mu club ya PSG okujja okubanga abasambira omupiira ye Frank Lampard manager wa ttiimu ya Chelsea n'avudde n'ategeeza n'aga nti omuvubuka gwe bayita Ben Chilwell amwetaaga okumujja mu club ya Leicester City naye nga Leicester City ebaga nti obukadde eyagala obukadde 8 bwa pound senga babeera bakkirizganyiza okuba nti batwala omuvubuka oyo Ben Chilwell agenda abegatteko mu ttiimu eya Chelsea okubasambira omupiira. Engambo zikyatambula wabula nga clubs ezongera okuba nga zikakasa n'okuba nga zigula abasambi ye ttiimu ya Arsenal. Omutendesi Mikel Arteta yagambye nti Arsenal ku mulundi guno bakkirizganyiza era akasente bakataddewo akagenda okugula abasambi oluvannyuma lw'okuba ttiimu eno baagala gyongeramu ate nga n'abasambi abalala bakadde bagenda kubata abasambi 9 bakakasiddwa okubeera nga bateebwa ku ttiimu ya Arsenal banoonye clubs endala bwe bagenda okuba nga basambira omupiira n'okwongera ttiimu ya Arsenal amaanyi okuba nti ekifo kyebaliddemu mu mpaka eza Premiership tekyali kirungi nga wadde yawangudde ekikopo kya FA Cup ekyabatudde mu mpaka eza Europa okuba nga balabikayo n'okuba nga basambira omupiira. Ebyo nebisingako tugenda kuba nga tukomawo ojja kuba nga obifuna ne mawulire gaffe ofuna ebyemizannyo nga bigenda kuba nga bitambula mu kaseera kano tukugamba nti nja kuba nkuza eri bannange eri LATIFA HAMID saako ne Chris Makanga okutwala mu maaso naye nga tugamba nti Fast Show bweba ikomekerezebwa olunaku lwe Lwakubiri Haj Bashir Kaziwe agenda kuba nga ajja Sharp Talk agenda kuba nga ajja no Tamale Mirundi okutwala mu maaso n'okubula biki ebigenda mu maaso. Nkomyewo eri Chris Makanga ne LATIFA HAMID bakutwale mu maaso program ekyali the Fast Show olunaku lwaleero kuva ku lunaku lw'ebbalaza okutuuka ku lunaku lwokutaano ebeera egenda mu maaso.
Hiring. The station seeks to recruit competent and trustworthy sales executive to grow advertising sales volume and reach its business targets. Key responsibilities include discovering and pursuing new sales prospects, negotiating deals through maintaining customer satisfaction, growth of TV portfolio, good proposal writing skills, impeccable integrity, and passion for the station. Qualifications: bachelor degree or diploma in business-related course. If you meet the requirements, please submit your application, detailed CV, and academic documents at Sky Complex located along Buziga Road. Note: only shortlisted candidates will be contacted.
olwogoto lwa waaka.
Hey guys, you're watching STV. Select for fun.
Back to the first show. Asanteni sana kuwa na sisi mpaka saizi. Kidogo tu tutakuwa tunatoka kwenye studios, lakini kwa wewe ambaye umeondoka saizi unaenda kazini, na kuambia usiache maneno ya jana ije mpaka leo ikuharibie siku yako. Welcome to the first show. My name is LATIFA HAMID, and as we were looking at the sports news with Prince Juko, we just had a report that has come in that Uganda has confirmed its 5th death of COVID-19. A 46-year-old woman of Indian origin died while she was going to Mulago Hospital from Chibuli Referral Muslim Hospital. Now, she had signs and symptoms of COVID-19 when she was admitted in Chibuli, and then when they found out it was COVID-19, they tried to rush her to Mulago, but she died while on her way to Mulago. We have talked about it before with Simon Chris Makanga, and we have said that when deaths start coming in a country, COVID-19 deaths, it starts and it doesn't stop. And we've just had the first one very few days ago from Mbale, and now we have one from Kampala Central, and now it increases our cases to 1,070 cases of COVID-19. Someone, Chris Makanga.
It's so sad that death cases are rising every single day, and we didn't expect them to rise as this fast. And this also reminds me that when Uganda registered the first case of COVID-19, cases started rising every day, not until they reached about 30s, and zikendera mukokato now. Then when the ministry started tracing cases from the truck drivers. However, it goes back to us. Ngawe mbadde ngamba wana Uganda, wa my fellow Ugandans, that kino ekirwadde kyakwebereramu. Oba toyambadde mask, oba to sanitize if you don't maintain the social distancing, if in a nutshell, if you don't put the SOPs into action, then go far. At the end of the day, it's your family, it's your relative, it's your life. So Ministry of Health in partnership with the government of Uganda have tried their best. And the fact that tulaba cases even within the communities, then there's need to worry as Ugandans.
And now when the Ministry of Health is facing such a challenge of contract tracing, because this one person who died in Chibuli has contacts of doctors who are treating her, plus the patients or family members who are with her at her time of death. Now all those are going to accumulate and add the number of COVID cases that we have in the country. And with the government opening up airports, we're questioning, we are asking, what happens now that the government is opening up airports? We're going to have more accumulative cases of COVID-19. And I hope a lot of airlines will come up with measures like Emirates that says, once you get sick on the Emirates airplane, we're giving you a COVID-19 insurance, whereby we will cover for your quarantine, hotel quarantine, we will cover for your hospital bills, and we will cover for your burial. That's if you die. They're saying that whoever goes into the Emirates airplane and gets sick from COVID-19 has a medical insurance. And that shows you that they're proving a quality assurance for their passengers, and they're saying you cannot catch COVID-19 in Emirates, but if you do, we have a plan B for you. And I hope that a lot of airplanes emulate that as the Ugandan airports are looking at opening up.
Well, before we do get lost from the state, I've also received information saying that whoever walks out of their home onto the streets in toyambadde mask, you are prone to being arrested. That's what I've received. Inti kasitaba kwata bagenda kutwala into forced isolation or quarantine for 14 days.
That you pay for. Yes.
So if you're walking out of your home, planning so it's so much advisable that you walk out with a mask on your face or covering your nose and mouth. And meanwhile, bobanga tambula mnika sanitizer batro butunda ku streets kaguleyo kajja okeyambise era kajja kubanga kakuyambira ddala.
Yes, and Kizza Besigye, still on COVID-19, said that this mandatory test that President is putting on politicians, he's saying that a lot of this mandatory quarantine, he says the president is planning to quarantine the aspirants for the presidential contenders. And we're not saying that that is what is going to happen, but what we're saying that is that when Besigye comes out to speak that, he's speaking as an opposition who thinks that when such measures are put up, it is to try and stifle the opposition as they vie for the same position as His Excellency Yoweri Museveni.
Oh yes, finally we are coming to the end of this show, but before we do, Latifa, I know you're good at reading books. Which book have you ever read and felt like, oh, you want to read it over and over again?
Well, right now I am reading Outwitting the Devil, How to Outwit the Devil. It's a book based on, it teaches you success, it teaches you how to maneuver in the current challenges that we're going through and how to build your self-esteem. So if you're out there and you feel like you want to read a book that's worth reading, How to Outwit the Devil is a book worth reading. Go through it and see what points you can pick from that book. What have you, Simon Chris?
I've read a book that I regard second to the Bible. It's called The Secret by Rhoda Bryan. That's a book that I think everyone is to read. So many things were hidden from us, and there's a reason as to why it's called The Secret. And The Secret you will find there. It's something very easy. It's about your mind and your thoughts. The book says it relates to what the Bible says, that as man thinketh, so he is. Nti oli choli, because of your thoughts. And I want to give an example of the very first time that you wanted to buy a phone. Olunaku olwafuna smartphone yo eyasookera ddala mu bulamu. Nsuubira abamu ku ffe oba abasinga ddala obungi essimu eyo wali tonnagigula wakubanga obufaananyi ng'ogikutteko oba yali mmotoka yo oba kyonna kyonna ekintu kyewali oyagala mu bulamu bwo otera okuba obufaananyi nga ogivuga oba ogikutte, you're calling your boyfriend, your mom, your whatever person. So by you thinking about that phone, you are creating, your thoughts are connected to the universe, so the universe rotates around, not until what your thoughts have been thinking about comes to reality.
The power of vision is what they call it.
So if you think negative, that means the universe is going to connect you to negative things around you.
Well, someone told me that we call it the power board, whereby if you want a certain house and a certain car, go to internet, cut its picture, put it on your power board, and plaster your power board in your room. So every time you wake up in the morning, look at it and tell yourself, I will get exactly that, and the power of faith will work.
And believers don't say I will, say thank you God, I have received.
It already. Exactly.
So Beranga webaza togamba I will receive it, gamba thank you, I have received.
A nice one. I like that. Thank you, Simon Chris Makanga, for that note. And on that note, would like to say goodbye right now from the studios of STV located in Buziga, and would like to say thank you for being with us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and your app, and also on, if you're looking at, you want to watch STV, that is 817 on GoTV and 235 on Star Times.
And then I want to recognize a few people who have been part of this show on our social media platforms. We have Namugalu Tasha, we have Eric Ranga, we have Anthony Nduga, Martin Nathan Wizo, we have Agas Dibad, and so many other people have been part of this show.
Martin Nathan, I don't understand.
That's a name. That's a name. It's
well, for all those who are with us and for those whose names have not been mentioned, thank you for being with us, and hopefully tomorrow we'll do the same with your names. And
my name is Simon Chris Makanga. May the good Lord of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob be with you, not until we meet once again tomorrow, which will be a Wednesday for another edition of the first show. We have worked with Dondi Drone on camera. We have worked with Mansoul on camera, and then our senior producer Husna Afeit, and then Jeff and Robert Jones in the control room, our senior editor Adams Mayambala, and our chief producer Haj SK Mbuga.
Thank you for being with us.
Hiring. The station seeks to recruit competent and trustworthy sales executive to grow advertising sales volume and reach its business targets. Key responsibilities include discovering and pursuing new sales prospects, negotiating deals through maintaining customer satisfaction, growth of TV portfolio, good proposal writing skills, impeccable integrity, and passion for the station. Qualifications: bachelor degree or diploma in business-related course. If you meet the requirements, please submit your application, detailed CV, and academic documents at Sky Complex located along Buziga Road. Note: only shortlisted candidates will be contacted.